You know, I felt like this shirt would be perfect to wear for this video tonight for the movie that I'm about to review. Don't worry, it'll be spoiler free because tonight we're going to talk about the Boogeyman. No, not that Boogeyman. The the Boogeyman that's like in your closet, comes out like eats your kids. Arr. Everybody, Nick at the Lost River Drive-In here, and tonight I'm going to give you my spoiler-free review of The Boogeyman. Now, I will say, at the end of the video, I will give a warning before I get into a mild spoiler, but it is not going to be till the very end, and you will have ample warning. So if you do not want spoilers, don't worry. This will not be spoiler-filled. This is spoiler-free. I'm just going to give you my overall thoughts of the movie. So The Boogeyman, the backstory really is, it's a 12-page short story by Stephen King. There's not a lot of meat on the bone there. You know, it's about a therapist dad with two children, and there's a boogeyman, and it's in the closet, and it's, eating people and stuff. And I mean, that's pretty much the story. So how do you adapt that into a movie? Well, basically, the plot of this movie is that this dad, who is a therapist, has two young daughters, well, a teenage daughter and a young daughter, and his wife died. And the family is grieving, and they're kind of fractured, and there's a lot of anger and sorrow there. And in comes the boogeyman. And the boogeyman wants to, harass and then eventually kill this family. It's what it does. That's the plot of this movie. Like, if you're not trying to go see this movie, if you're worried about going to see this movie and you're like, I'm not trying to see this crazy, deep, symbolic. No. This movie is very, very straightforward. But I want to get into, first of all, my overall thoughts on the movie and what worked about this movie. And I first got to say, the sound design in this movie is top notch. This movie is loud at all the right moments that it needs to be loud. The musical cues are perfect. The score is great. The sound design is awesome. If you're going to see this movie, I implore you to see it in the theater simply just for the sound design. Unless you have a home theater set up. I know a lot of people do because they have a lot more money than me. I would go see this in the theater so you can get the ample sound design that what they're going for here. God, I'm all over the place, but whatever. Sound design is on point. The acting and the family, it's really, really strong. This movie opens up not pulling any punches. And immediately I'm like, okay, whoa, we're in for something. And it kind of starts a little slow, and I was like, I don't know. But you really, really get into this family. You really start to like this family. You like their dynamics with each other, and you really care for them. There's really an emotional core to this movie, and I think that's what makes this movie work. You care about these kids. You care about the dad. You care about what they've been through. You don't want them to suffer. It's like, why them? And that's really, really awesome. It's everything else aside, in a horror movie, when you can have a strong emotional core driven by great performances, I'm immediately probably going to give the movie a pass. But let's get into the creature itself. Obviously, this is not a spoiler. You guys know it's called the Boogeyman, and you've seen it in the trailers. There is a creature in this movie. Without giving too much away, I'll just say the design is great. I loved the design of this creature. Sean Levy is, I believe, a producer on this. He's also, I think, a producer of Stranger Things. And believe me, I got Demogorgon vibes, Vecna vibes. It's there. There's a lot of Stranger Things in this movie. And so maybe that's why I was partial to the design. But the effects, I already said the sound design, the visual design, the creature design as a whole, how it moves in the world and everything, I really, really liked it. At no point did I think, oh my God, this is awful. No, really, really good. So that gets a pass from me as well. And overall, for a PG-13 horror movie, I don't feel like this movie really pulls many punches. Now, I know there's going to be some people saying, well, there's not a ton of gore or blood or anything like that. But I mean, that's to be expected with PG-13. Like, you can't have a ton of that. But there's a lot implied, or that happens off screen, or that happens on screen but isn't necessarily grotesque, that is like, ooh, that was pretty violent. Like, this is, especially when it involves children. Like, there were multiple points throughout this movie where I found myself going like, oh, I'll be damned. That okay, the opening by itself alone will grab you. It should grab you. It's the sound design immediately grabs you. The camera work, it's very, very solid. The opening is. Overall, this movie is incredibly competently made. It's really well directed, really well acted. The sound design is great. The creature effects are great. The emotional core there, the performances, it's all there. I mean, it is all there. Having said that, I do not love this movie like I loved Evil Dead Rise or like I loved Scream 6. I would give this movie 4 out of 5, 3.5, 4 out of 5. Maybe we'll meet in the middle, 3.75 out of 5. Let's go ahead and do that. Letterboxd won't let me do it, but we're going to do that. 3.75 out of 5. And why I'm there is because, guys, I will say there's a lot of suspense in this movie. There's a lot of tension, and these jump scares are, like, super well crafted. Like, if jump scares get you, you're going to have a bad time, I think, with this movie because it's going to scare the crap out of you. My buddy Toby, I told you guys I saw it with Toby and Greg. Toby screamed 3 times out loud in the theater. So if jump scares get to you, this movie will do things to you. But for me, jump scares don't really do it for me. And although there was some suspense and some dread, and there were some moments that were like really punchy that you're just like, whoa, holy shit, it just wasn't scary to me. And, you know, jump scares, that's not really my bag. So I'm not going to knock the movie for that because that's just, it was to be expected, but it's not really my thing. So it really wasn't that scary. Creepy at times, effective, but, you know, just kind of a lot of jump scares. So there's one very mild spoiler. I don't even know if it's a spoiler because, like, I wouldn't even call it a spoiler. But I'm just giving the warning right now, guys, if you want to know absolutely nothing whatsoever, which, again, I really don't think this is going to hurt your viewing experience at all. So, you know, whatever. But I want to let you guys know, I was worried about one thing with this movie. I was worried about this movie being like the Babadook. That it was going to be metaphorical, it was going to be symbolic. There wasn't actually going to be a creature there. And I was going to be fucking pissed if that was the case. I'm just going to call it like it is. No. I'm very happy to report the Boogeyman is a real thing. It is a real creature in this movie. It's not a metaphor. It's not a figment of anyone's imagination. It is a real creature that does cause real harm. And that, to me, was great. That's all I wanted. Just give me something real, damn it. Overall, guys, the Boogeyman is a really good time, and I would suggest you see it in theaters. I would not say wait for streaming on this one. I think you guys should go to theaters to see this, to get the full experience, the sound. It's just really, really well done. And I think that you need that surround sound experience with a movie like this. Again, like I said, if jump scares are your thing, this movie's going to work for you in the scare department. If they're not, it probably won't. There will be some moments. There is some dread built there. There is some suspense. But overall, it's more for the jump scare crowd. Having said that, it's a really good movie because it's a really good family dynamic, great performances, very, very crafted very well, camera work wise. I really, really like this movie. It is technically sound from top to bottom. It really, really is. But it just wasn't that scary. But anyway, if you guys have seen The Boogeyman, let me know down below in the comment section what you thought of it. Please, whether you hated it, whether you loved it, whether you hated or loved my review, please let me know down below. Leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. That's going to do it for me. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and remember...
Hey, you can't kill the Boogeyman.